Welcome to the Animated Lounge podcast. I'm your host, Russell, here with Smiz.
What up, what up?
All right, in today's episode, we're going to be talking about, this is more along the lines of like the content creation that we've been talking about so far, giving you guys a lot of different tips, and so we really hope these tips have been helpful to you. If so, just feel free to let us know on social media. So we'll just go ahead and start off. You can follow me on social media, Russ_the_CEO. And Smiz, where can the content creators follow you?
I am on Instagram and most every other platform at Smizurp, SMZZURP, or TikTok at SmizTok, SMIZTOOK.
Now, in this episode here, as we're talking about, the first thing we're going to talk about is why would you even want to work with another content creator? So Smiz actually works with, he's worked with tons of content creators, and myself included, and we work with a lot of content creators together on the Animated Apparel Company channel. So a lot of things that we do, whether articles, blogs, YouTube videos, podcasts like we're doing now, all of it, we have to deal with other content creators at some point. And so we're going to be talking about why you want to do that, and also how do you set that up essentially. So how would you actually set up the deal between you and the content creator? And then not only that, we're going to talk about, wrap it all up with honoring your side of the agreement. So that's the fun part that nobody really ever likes to do. We're going to be talking about that. All right. So first topic here, like we talked about, is so Smiz, I guess you can tell us, why would you want to work with another content creator? So from yourself, we know that your TikTok is blowing up. Literally it's blowing up, like it just exploded. But but it's doing well. Of course, you have a lot of history at YouTube, quite a few subscribers on YouTube. So I guess your input here is going to be pretty valuable. So why would you, with everything you've done so far, why would you want to work with another content creator?
Excuse me. I would say with C2C, creator to creator, it's always a good idea to reach out periodically to bring new awareness to your channel, and also bring awareness to somebody else you kind of admire. So that's always a good reason. That's probably one of the main reasons. Just getting more exposure to your channel and getting a chance to reach a wider audience. So basically something like that. If you feel like your channel is getting stagnant, you feel like you want to go to the next step, you want to add some variety to your channel, it's always a good idea to maybe reach out to somebody you kind of already admire. Basically, if you like watching their videos, it'll be easier to collaborate versus trying to force something with a guy you never heard of, but they have the clout, so to speak. You never want to collaborate for clout. Collaborate because you want to make something dope and creative together that can help both of you. So I would say that's like the main reason, really. Just switching up your brand, being able to just, widen your audience and reach different people.
Right. Now, would you also say with that, because I like those tips there, and I'm also thinking, things come to mind as I hear you talking there. So like if I were to go out now and say, you know what, I built somewhat of a following, and I want to take mine to the next level. Is there like a certain follower cap that you would think that, and where you would start working with our content creators? Or I guess you'd say, how soon would you do that?
I would say as soon as your channel is set up and ready to create content, and you're able to offer some kind of value and have your own base following, you can jump right in. So whether that's 500 or 1,000, or whether that's 20,000. Be set up because you want to make sure your channel looks right, for one. So when the collaboration actually hits and people are saying yes and coming to your channel, they know what to expect from you. I don't want to have a brand new channel with one subscriber try to collaborate with a guy that has 10,000, because that guy won't see the value in my channel because I haven't put in my own work. He won't get the same returns that I'm going to get from collaborating with him that he would get from me, because I don't have channel art. I got one subscriber. I post once every 6 months. My videos aren't consistent. I don't have a theme on my channel. I haven't put in my own work. So as long as you have something to show, I think it's, and again, within reason, because if I have 500 subscribers and I want to collaborate with a guy with 1 million, again, that ROI for him won't be there. So maybe if he has 1,000, I have 500, or we're both at 600, or something like that, as long as it makes sense.
Okay. So basically here we should try to stick with creators that are somewhat similar as far as like clout, basically. It's not to say completely with everyone out there listening that there won't be an opportunity for someone that has a larger a larger base, but it kind of goes into the next topic here of everyone's favorite radio station. So I have a pretty big sales background. So in sales, there's a term we use where they would say, what is everyone's favorite radio station? WIIFM. So it just stands for what's in it for me. So everyone's thinking about, what's in it for me? What's in it for my channel? If I were to take the time to collab with you, then I take the time out of my day, my schedule to, create content for you, for your channel, or work with you. What is in it for me? So when it comes to working with a lot of creators, that's probably the number one thing that I think of. I think about that constantly, as I'm always thinking about, okay, if I reach out to another channel or reach out to an influencer, or reach out to a creator, I'm always thinking of what benefit or what value can I add to them and add to maybe their following or their base. So what value can I add to make it to where they'd want to collab with me? So next question with that, Smiz, is, I guess, what's your take on that? So that'd be more of a broad question, but what's your take on that when it comes to basically kind of setting up the deal with another creator? So let's say we found a creator, we found maybe a couple creators we want to work with, we're wanting to reach out to them. What would you suggest here when it comes to actually basically setting the terms or putting together something to actually work with them?
I think you made a good point when you said value. You got to definitely know your value going into any kind of agreement. So let's say I'm like now sitting on 10,000, but I got a guy that has 50,000 that's willing to collaborate. I have to be prepared to do all the legwork because I'm basically giving this guy free content, and that's what he's getting from this whole situation, this whole setup. And I'm getting from him an opportunity to be exposed to his followers and to his brand and his world. So it is my job, if I have a small number of subscribers, again, this is just my opinion, this is my job to come up with the idea and pitch it to you. It is my job to tweak that idea if you agree with it. It is my job to edit that footage. It is my job to give you this video to put on your channel, so you essentially get free content from me. And then once you post it, gives us exposure for both. So if I do a good job with that editing and the idea, he gives me a shout out, hey, this video was provided by Russell Smiz. It was his idea. We collaborated. We did this, and this. Go to his channel because he's killing it. And then we have footage together. That's how I benefit. Now, if I do a terrible job and it goes on his channel and he chooses not to upload it, that's not necessarily on me. That's part of our agreement. So if I'm smaller, I got to be prepared to do the legwork. If we're on even playing field, about the same number of subscribers, we can kind of go in together and figure it out from there. But that's just one of those things to where if you're working with somebody a little bit bigger than you, be prepared to do the legwork. It may not always happen like that, but be prepared. Don't, he got 1 million and I got 100,000, so why gotta do everything? Dude, you literally just said it. He's got 10 times your number and he's willing to work with you, somebody smaller. So make it easier on them because you're busy. So imagine how busy they are when it comes to, creating content.
And also it goes into like that person, whoever you're wanting to work with, they've also spent time, energy, and effort creating their brand and growing their brand up to whatever level it's at. So they've basically cultivated that environment for their audience. And if they're allowing you to come in, I think that as another, one creator to another, I think it would be, you'd almost be doing a disservice to where if you weren't willing to do your part, you weren't willing to do this, you weren't willing to create, you weren't willing to do that, because it's like, both of you benefit from that partnership, both benefit from that relationship. So, you're going to have to, it just put in the work. And almost when we talk about this is, why would you reach out to a creator in the first place if you're not willing to do your part? I mean, we say that, but Smiz and I talk about this kind of stuff all the time casually because that kind of stuff happens all the time. People reach out and say, hey, I want to work with you. Hey, I think you have this. I think you have that. Or maybe it's a company, wants to reach out to you or something like that. But yet they want you to do everything. And they don't want to do any of it, but then reap the rewards of your finished product at the end of the day. Yeah. And it's like, how is that wait, it's like if I'm over here minding my own business, someone comes to me and says, hey, I see what you've been building so far, Russell. I want to come work with you. Okay, fantastic. But then I find myself doing all the work on the deal. I'm like, wait a second, I thought we were working together. Like, I thought it was a mutual working here. So far, I'm the only one doing everything. So that doesn't work well. So it's always, I would say, and kind of going into the third point here is when you do work with someone, put your best foot forward. I mean, I know that especially in the content creator world, it's very casual. So like if we're a gamer, Smiz is a gamer, I'm a gamer, we say, hey, let's make a game video together. Our content on our channel may be very casual, but we have to take that business relationship very seriously. So that means, it's a job at the end of the day. So that means, doing everything you do with excellence, doing everything you do the right way, making sure that that whatever work that they give you or whatever work you give them, that you're putting your best foot forward when it comes to that work, because again, you're also representing your brand, you're representing everything you put together. So like if you upload something that's horrible, why would first they're probably not going to upload it, but second, if they did upload it, now you're basically being represented. So that base that now sees you like, oh wow, I don't know if I want to check out Russell's channel, like his content he uploaded wasn't very good. So, and I've seen that too in other content creators that I've followed. Like they'll do a collab and the person that they're with, I'm just like, oh my goodness, he's working with that person again. Skipping that video, but then there's other times to where they do work with somebody and they're great. Like, and I'm like, okay, great. Can I follow them? And that would be something else of that. If you're going to collab with someone else, they're going to put your stuff, have them make it easy. Tell them to put your details easy, where it's easily accessible to the viewers. Because there's nothing worse than like Smiz and I can be working together. Oh yeah, I got Smiz here. Great. You guys, talk to Smiz, like Smiz, think he's fantastic. You're like, I want to know more about this guy Smiz, but there's like no links to any of his stuff anywhere. So it's like, because if you have to search, like I like making things easy. Like if people have to search for it, they're not going to put forth the effort. And that essentially would negate, like, why would anybody want to work with you again if you're not gonna give them if you're not going to do them justice? Essentially, you've worked, you've researched them, you follow their videos, you like their content, and then now when it comes to the delivery, you drop it. That's a problem. That's a huge problem. So just follow through with everything that you guys do. But I'll let Smiz take it from there because I've been talking a lot. So.
No, man, you made some good points. Kind of like what you were saying with the say you have a favorite creator, right, and he's collaborating with a guy you don't really like. That may mean they're not really. What's the best way to say it? They're not good together as far as their chemistry, not compatible. So if I like this guy's personality, he collaborates with a guy that's totally different. It's like, it's kind of off-putting. Are you guys really friends? Because when you're friends, like you and I, we get on this thing, we just talk casually. There's no real awkward moments, no awkward silence. We're not making awkward jokes and like we're not, you know what I'm saying? We're just chilling. We mesh. So you got to be compatible. Is one thing I really want to say. And if nothing else, if nobody hears anything else from this podcast, I want you to listen real close. Turn your radios up. Listen. Make sure you have a decent pitch when you're reaching out to somebody. What I mean by decent pitch is, hey, Russell CEO, I'm a cooking channel and I want to collaborate with other channels. I have 100K and I'm in Los Angeles. So are you interested? That is not a good pitch. That's just, at best, it's an okay pitch. It's like, okay, well, now I got to research you and go out of my way when you reach out to me. No, sir. Make sure you got a good pitch. Something, hey, Russell CEO, I love your channel. Boom. You establish that you watch this man's channel. He's already interested. I love your series about tech and you reviewing AAC hats and merch from animatedapparelcompany.com. I love your stuff. Last week I saw your video about the new pre-order of figures you got coming out for Cyberpunk 2077 coming out. I saw the video. It's coming out, which they are coming. Pre-orders are still popping. And in your most recent video, I like that you talked about Cyberpunk and went in details. I have a video idea with you that I want to collaborate on. The video idea is going to be about this, and this. I can come in and do this. All you have to do is that. Are you interested? That's much better. It's not a long read. You establish, you know who I am. You like what I do. You were specific about a video, so I know you're not making up stuff. And then you gave me detail on what you want to do and collaborate with me on. Now it's simple as a yes or no or tell me more versus a, hey, I make videos. You make videos too. Let's do something cool. Nah, brother. I don't. Right. You came to me with that idea. I don't have to do any extra work. As bad as that may sound up front, make it easy.
You wouldn't believe like how many times like, if you put CEO in your title and you put like a link to a company, like just expect to get like, nonsense replies like in your inbox. So, and I'm not talking about anybody's specifics, anyone who may listen to this. Like, oh man, I messaged him yesterday. Like, I'm not talking, we know the difference between someone who's like, just casually talking to you and then somebody who's just like, I consider it to be spam. Like if they're just messaging me and it's like, I want to collab with you. I want to work with you on this. Okay, great. But then like you said, I have to do all the research and figure out who are you? What is this? Is this something, and I feel like you shouldn't, like you said, have a good pitch and put in that effort in advance. And the one word I can think about is easy. So the one word that comes to mind is easy. Is just make it easy for them. Make it to where working with you is going to be easy for them, to where if they say, you put them in a position where if they say no, it's like, you really would say no to this deal? Are you serious? Like, why would you say no? Like, and that's the thing about it is people, I think for the most part, I think what it boils down to is that people in this generation I've seen are just like absolutely lazy. Like, I'm not saying everybody's lazy, but people are so concerned about COVID. I'm concerned about not only COVID, but the laziness pandemic that is that's plaguing content creators, not just content creators, but people as a whole. Like, people expect to work with someone else on content creation, but they don't want to do it. They're like, they'll get to the point to where they set up a deal and then they just don't follow through. And it's like, it's like, have a good pitch, put it together, and then when you get that deal, take pride in that. Take pride in the fact that you're working with that creator. And actually, if you continue to work with creators very well, it's going to be a situation where you're going to get more of that. More people are going to want to work with you. You have more opportunities. And maybe the big guy who does have 1 million followers or something like that, maybe he or she sees what you're doing, and maybe it's just something they can get behind. So those opportunities will come to you. But if you're if you're being lazy and not putting your best foot forward, just think about it yourself. I mean, if you spend all your time, energy, and effort, and even at nights and weekends working on something, why would you want to work with somebody else who's also not going to put in the same energy and effort towards it? Like, why would you do that?
Yep. That's what I say.
So, yeah, the plague of laziness. Now, I hope I don't get any messages like, you're not concerned about COVID, and freak out.
They're coming right in your inbox so hard.
How dare you? I'm like, it's like, go back and listen to what I said. Like, listen to the whole thing. But no, I've always been, I've been concerned about just crazy. Like, I'll tell a story. So I'll tell a story. I love my stories without mentioning anybody's name. And then I proceed to mention their name. So I won't do that. But like, for example, there's a guy that I was working with, and in the early stages of AAC, because I've always had a vision with AAC, like kind of what we want, and we're still, we're building those things. So every day, every week, this is what I'm working on. So people are like, hey, what are you doing? Every week I'm working on AAC, some aspect. I'm either working on customer service, I'm working content creation, I'm web design. I'm doing something just to make sure that our foundation is set properly in this business. And so I was working with a guy in the very early stages, and it was an influencer. And I've had so many times I've tried to work with influencers on content creation, and it's been a mess in the beginning. But this one particular guy, we set up the deal, and his job was to go in and start, just basically, like, I would send him some merch. His job essentially is to make content centered around that merch. And I told him, hey, in 90 days, we'll test this. We'll see. In 90 days, you and I will come back and we'll talk again, and we'll see if this is something that's mutually beneficial. If we want to do it, if we don't want to do it, we don't want to move forward, that's fine. So I went ahead, we did that. So I held up my part. I went ahead, sent him merchandise, sent it to him. In the beginning, he was handling his part. So in the beginning, he's posting, he's doing this, he's doing that. But our agreement hinged on two things. It hinged on one, like, you have to promote your own stuff. So I should see some growth in your channel. I should see some growth in your Instagram. I should see some growth in your Facebook. So if you have 5 Facebook likes, I expect in 90 days to at least have 6. To show that there's been some improvement. Okay, like there's something, right? So I checked, and actually, because we got busy, it was our first holiday season. I didn't really know how to handle it. I was swamped, like with filling orders and everything. So I was swamped doing all that. So I didn't have time. So I ended up meeting with this guy later than that. And by then I learned more, and we started an actual like affiliate program. And by then I finally reached out to this guy and I said, hey, I don't think, I know we set this deal up where I was sending you stuff, but this deal is just not going to work. So I was like, I'm sending you stuff, but you're not promoting your stuff, and you're not really promoting us. So I said, it's just deal isn't working anymore. So we're going to not do this deal. But hey, if you want to go ahead and join our affiliate program, you're more than welcome to do that. So you can still do that. There's still an opportunity for you. But as far as content, you're just not creating content. Like literally this guy vanished off the face of the earth. And this is pre-COVID. So I couldn't be like, hey, did COVID get you? Like, I mean, he just vanished off the face of the earth. So then when I messaged him that, he got upset with me. Like it was my fault. I didn't hold up my end of the deal. There's something wrong with me personally. And he's like, I'm gonna think about it. You know how they get mad. At least I didn't get an angry. At least I didn't this time. I didn't get like a big angry message saying I suck. So that's typically the route. They're like, I hate you, Russ, the CEO. You're awful. And I'm like, really? Because I tried to make this deal mutually beneficial, but it didn't work. So, but anyway, and it's crazy to this day. Because I try to make sure no matter who we work with, content creator, influencer, at the end of the day, I always try to make sure that there's always a good relationship. So I really pride those relationships because I realize how much time, energy, and effort it takes for someone to make content. So like if I give you a t-shirt and say, hey, make content centered around this, you now have to create content around that. And you got to figure out how to blend this into your subscribers, how to do that well, how to make a good video around it. So I understand that, and so I try to work with people the best I can when it comes to doing that. And sometimes I think we kind of go above and beyond when it comes to, hey, we can edit the video for you. Hey, look, we have a resource. You can get, royalty, free music we pay for. I think we go like above and beyond to try to work with people as much as possible. But it's like sometimes you can give people all the tools, and they just don't want it. So so I think long story short, at the end of all this is just be careful who you work with, essentially. And I would look at, just treat it as a business decision when you're working with a content creator. Like evaluate their channel like you would, like if you're procuring any sort of business deal. Like, is their channel consistent? Are they constantly producing their own videos? Because if the answer is they got 10,000 subs, but no one's heard from them in 6 months, most like, what's the odds that person is gonna really want to make a video with you? What's the, most likely if you reach them, first off, they check their YouTube messages, and you reach them, you're most likely gonna have to do everything. So choose people well, essentially, and choose people for the long term. Think about, hey, I've worked with this creator. I want to be able to work with this creator again because my subscribers like it. I may want to work with them, for several videos, or maybe he and I can do a series, or us can do a series or something like that. So, anyway, that's it. I'm gonna get off my soapbox again. But yeah,
you hit some valid points. You hit some super valid points. Just working with somebody that takes pride in their own channel, that's uploading regularly. It's huge. Doing your research before you reach out to collab is huge. I think it's it's overlooked sometimes when it comes to people on other channels. They just want to chase that clout, chase that TikTok fame, Insta fame, but if something were to hit, are you ready?
Shortcut.
Everybody wants a shortcut, but then once it finally hits, are you ready? Is your channel set up? If that guy says yes to the collab and people start coming to your channel, are you ready on your own channel? Like, you can't get a yes from a collab and wait on that video to hit. You have to keep making your own stuff as well. So you just, again, being prepared, doing that research.
Something, yeah. I just feel like, and I feel like what it is, like, there are plenty of people out there that do content that are really good at what they do. But one thing I've just noticed, and I'm sure Smiz probably agree with me on this, because, you know, he and I deal with a lot of content creators, is there's a difference between a content creator that is serious about it versus somebody who's not.
Yeah.
And you can typically pick up on that pretty easy. So when you want to work with somebody who's serious. And the main thing you can look at is consistency, you know, and are they consistent? Are they, I mean, even if they're doing one a month is consistent, you know? So even make, you know, maybe someone works a crazy, ridiculous job, but they're doing, you know, one per month, but they're constantly doing that one per month. They're not doing, you know, one video here, and then we're going to have a video, I guess in 8 months, they'll do another one.
Yeah.
You know, so you don't want people like that. You don't want to work with people like that. You want to work with somebody that's consistent, somebody that's going to do videos, that's doing videos constantly, and someone that cares about their base. And actually, you know, like Smiz was saying, if you research them up front and you're trying to work with them, you know, these are things, you know, let them know, be honest, what you like about their channel, what you like about their series, something that you like about that they do. Like, hey man, I like that series, the video you did, this last one that you did about this and that, like it's phenomenal, you know, and then jump in there. So I think that's just the way to go when it comes to working with content creators.
Absolutely. Oh yeah.
All right. So I guess we'll go ahead and wrap this up. So I hope that this podcast has been helpful to you guys, and I hope this whole content creator series has been very helpful. And if it has, or even if it hasn't, feel free to you know, reach out to myself, Russ_the_CEO. Of course, that's my label everywhere, on Twitter, on Instagram primarily. So feel free to reach out to me and just let me know. Or if you have questions about working with a content creator, I'd be happy to answer those. And Smiz, I guess one more time, where can they follow you and watch all your content? And if you guys are not watching Smiz's content, I would encourage you to do so, because it's not just a plug. I mean, he's like one of my best friends, but his content, I mean, is awesome. Like, everything he does is he's good at so much stuff. So his art is fantastic. Getting a huge following on TikTok, just posting his art. It's almost one of those things, like, dang, we would have known that. Like, I wish he would have posted art a long time ago. I'd have been like, hey, Smiz, draw this real quick. Just draw one of these, draw something and throw it up there. But yeah, he's doing a phenomenal job there. And it's great because, and I'll just kind of gush over Smiz's TikTok and stuff for a little bit. Because at the end of the day, I'll just say this. So Smiz is actually one of the coolest people I've ever known in my life. And I say that wholeheartedly. Smiz is a cool guy. Everything about him is cool. Even the name is Smiz. I wish that hopefully, being his friend, I wish that some of that coolness would just kind of rub off. But he's cool in his own way. It's not like he's not copying somebody else. He's not trying to be like everybody else. He literally does his own thing, but he's just a cool guy. So everything he does is just cool. And he has so many talents. And so he's good at a lot of different things. And I hear that from people tell me all the time, Russell, you're good at everything. I'm like, I just train hard. That's all I do. I just practice a lot. That's all it is. I practice, and Smith practices a lot too. But he definitely a guy that knows how to bring the best out of himself and others. So anyway, Smiz, now that I've kind of gave you probably a really cool outro there.
Hey, man,
I guess
that was first off, I appreciate that, man. I appreciate those kind words. That's one hell of a plug. That's the world's greatest plug. If nothing else, this man, hype man of the year just now. Let's give him a round of applause right now. We got to just throw that in there. Editor, throw in that round of applause.
I take cash payments.
He takes cash payments. I didn't pay him in advance. Now I probably owe him some money. But yeah, man, all seriously, man, I appreciate that. We've been rocking together for a long time. And yeah, I think you hit another topic maybe for another podcast, just about experimenting and trying stuff, because you're always going to find something. But we'll touch that next podcast. But if you're looking for me, I'm on Instagram, Twitter at Smizurp, SMZZURP, my TikTok at SmizTalk, SMIZTOK. And, you know, I just want to say to you, you know, thanks for bringing me aboard with the AAC and everything. Thanks for one, you know, trusting me to do good work, you know, because you didn't have to, but you did. And I want to hold up my end of the bargain.
Don't trust anybody, man.
You don't trust anybody. So for you to, you know, extend that olive branch, I definitely appreciate that. I think you got something great going. I just want to see where it goes. I'm happy to help, man. If nothing else, we're just riding out this journey together, and then we're gonna race these Lambos. We don't talk about too much, but we're racing these Lambos.
I know kind of in the podcast is kind of deviate. Just call me Captain Deviation. I'm always just going everywhere. It's like, did you start with a plan? I did, but then I got distracted. It's like, ooh, squirrel. And I just went over there and just started doing something else. But yeah, I think I'm confident with Apparel company. I think that we're doing I think everything we're building is great, but like, you know, we can't build it without having quality people. Like, I mean, I consider myself like, yeah, I'm CEO, I'm founder, I founded everything. But I mean, AAC, I feel like as much as it's yours as much as it is mine, you know, so it's everybody, it's a collective group. So with that, even with all the customers and everybody that's bought stuff from us, I mean, at the end of the day, I feel like all my job is to cultivate a great environment and establish a great vision and trajectory for us. Mm-hmm. But other than that, it's just putting in the right people. So it's like sourcing the right talent. And I hear this a lot because everybody that has worked with me so far has told me this. And they're like, man, this is my dream job. And I'm like, you know, honestly, I didn't know how to take that. It was like, this is my dream job. And I thought about that. And I thought about it, like, wow, I'm actually, you know, someone can come to me and say, like, I'm allowing them to do their dream job. Like, that's crazy. Like, I mean, I was like, your dream job? I mean, like, this is what you dreamed of, like, always. Like, you know, it's like, I started wanting to like question it. Like, this is what you dreamed of always? Like, you know, but people, I think what it is, I think people just see that. And I would say with me, I'm the type of person more, I've always been like a vision type person. Like, I'm always trying to think like 10 steps down the road. So I'm always thinking, okay, how do my actions today, you know, affect 10 years down the road? So I see that. And so many times I can, especially, I guess, bring it back to content creation, is I pride myself on being able to see the potential in someone and the potential in someone's channel. And sometimes I can see that potential more than they can see it in themselves. And so, and some content creators I work with, I can see what they're trying to build. And I'm like, dude, what you have is fire. Like, it's going to take off. Like, I'm telling you, it's going to take off. You just got to keep going. And they're like, nah, I don't know. I only got 2 likes today. I'm like, that's today. Like, you're not promoting it. No one knows about you yet. Like, you got to keep promoting it.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and so I've always been, you know, of course, Smiz is my best friend, but I'm still always a huge fan. And not just him. I mean, a lot of people that we have, they work with AAC. Another one which you guys have seen, I've had on this episode, is Joey. You know, so Joey, phenomenal guy. And so, I mean, real blessing to have him. But even seeing his journey too, seeing how like he's gotten better with every video he's done. And so I feel like my job more so is not so, it doesn't mean, I mean, I have talents, my own, you know, I guess I got my own personal talents, but I say my talent probably more is, I'm probably more of a good coach, like scouting like the best talent and putting the best talent in the best place. And some people I'm like, hey, you know what? You want to be point guard, but you're not. Like,
yeah, I mean, hey,
that ain't true. You. Like,
you gotta be able to, you know,
you need to be.
You got to be able to accept those roles and assign them, you know? Yeah.
But I think for the most part, I think a lot of it is with that, I've had people mad at me. I've had people who think I'm great. So it's always one extreme or the other. Either think I'm fantastic or they think like, I can't stand that guy, man. You know, who is he think he is? I'm like, I'm just trying to, you know, we're just trying to accomplish one big goal here. So one big mission as a team and take over this whole
planet.
Take over this, pretty much take over everything essentially. So that's pretty much where our mindset is: take over everything, but in a good way. Provide valuable I'm not going to go into all the details and everything we're trying to do, but just try to provide valuable resources to everyone, essentially. So I'll just keep it at that. Otherwise, you start going into stuff to where you need an attorney afterwards. But but valuable. Yeah, none of that. We don't need an attorney afterwards or anything like that. So, but no, and I think bringing it back to content creation as a whole, I'll just kind of leave you guys with these parting words. Is that, you know, whatever you want to do with your content. I mean, we talked a lot today about working with others, but a lot of the points that we gave when we talked about working with others really revolve around you. It revolves around you working with you, actually doing everything to the best of your ability. Like if you don't take pride in your own content, you know, why would anybody work with you, you know, when you pitch to them? And then when you do pitch, you know, not only that, but also valuing that person's channel, researching their channel, so being selective over who you work with. And that's all part of it on a business perspective. And I'm sure Smiz can agree to kind of all those terms there, because he and I have had our share of working with others. How should I say, not working with not working with others.
Oh yeah.
We try to work with everybody, but you know, even as talented as I feel, you know, Smiz is, and with that, I mean, you would think like this guy would be working with everybody. You would think that, but unfortunately, when you have multiple talented people in a room, sometimes people just get, I mean, there's all kind of emotions thrown in and stuff. And I think people just need to just be professional, like treat everything like a business. Like if I'm going to work with someone and they're a creative person, they're bringing something to the table, I'm going to work with that person. I'm going to cultivate that relationship, and don't let anybody come in and divide it. Don't let anybody come in and just be negative about it. Be positive, be happy, be grateful, have an attitude of gratitude, work with everybody, just be happy about it. Like, hey, be grateful that someone's reaching out to you to work with you. Yeah. And vice versa. Be grateful they said yes, and just focus on creating great content for your fans and your audience. I think if we all focused on the community and focused on our fans and audience, I think that all of us content creators, I think we'll all do fantastic if we all focus on, you know, just what our jobs are. It's to make great content for our base.
And you know what's crazy? Just one more thing, adding to that. If we take the same examples from drama channels, that's literally what drama channels do. Their content is drama, but they're making these updates and these news stories for consumers, for the people to watch. They'll stay up late, they'll make videos, everything they do, but it's for the consumer. The content itself may not be to your liking because it is drama, but they're making the content for you. So flip that, and if you can make that about what you love, whether it's Pokemon or Funko or merchandise, whatever you love, make it about a consumer. I think you're onto something. Using that, you basically use drama channels as a blueprint and just make stuff for the consumer. You hit it on the head. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, that's at the end of the day, that's why we make content. Is if nobody's watching it, if the consumers aren't watching it, we're all out of business from a content creation standpoint. So people just all of a sudden, you know what? We're not watching YouTube, which they won't, but I ain't watching no more YouTube videos ever. You know, if the whole world stopped watching, then, you know, how many content creators miss out on revenue? What would they do? TikTok was like, you know what? We're done. I'm done. We're all done with TikTok.
Man.
But content creation as a whole, I mean, it's not going anywhere, and it's actually, which this is a whole nother podcast topic. It's like new age. How should I say? I feel like it's more like this is the new age of entrepreneurship. And this, I mean, I'm not to say I think traditional jobs will go away. I do think traditional jobs will always be there, because we're always going to need people to do certain jobs or positions. But I think that anybody born in this day and age is extremely blessed, because working a job is just a choice. I mean, your job could be content creation. So working a job really is a choice. I mean, you literally, you know, and you can just be a content creator. So for one, I guess, don't let anybody tell you otherwise. You know, you get people, oh, that's not a job. Or I had an uncle one time tell me, boy, why don't you go get a real job? And I was like, but if I'm getting paid real money, how less real? Does this make content creation less real? Like if I can, you know, like if I can pull up in whatever exotic car I want, that I paid for from, ad revenue or from my hard work. I mean,
you can pay real money.
Is it any less real? Like, I'm sorry, but content creation still, like these guys. I mean, do you think PewDiePie really at the end of the day sits back and it's just like, it's not real. I don't really, I mean, come on, guys. And I think so. A lot of that, because content creators, because it's the bar to entry with content creation is so low. Like, it's real easy to get in. I mean, almost anybody can get an HD camera now. Phones can do wonders now. I mean, and I was gonna say, lighting, but you don't even necessarily need that. There's content creators that I've seen their setup, and I'm like, are you really recording in that room right now? But yet they have lots of fans. So it's at the end of the day, it's really about your message and your brand, really. But yeah, I mean, don't let anybody hold you back. And I guess I'm a big motivation guy, probably because most of this stuff, like most of the negative stuff you hear, Smiz and I probably have already heard it. So we probably have already heard it. I heard tons of stuff. I heard, oh, you shouldn't do that. Why would you do that? Or like, even when I tell people, oh, I'm in business for myself, what do you do? And I tell them, and they're just like, that's the business you're in. I'm like, yeah. Like, one thing I had got one time, and I guess hopefully maybe we'll be done. Maybe we'll be done for this. So, but one of the things I heard one time, and I actually just emotionally, I think, got over it. But people were, this thing of like, with what we do, trying to say essentially that it's childish. Like, oh, this is childish. And even my wife, who I love, so I'm just going to mention this story, but this is not a negative story. So she basically, like, it's funny because when I'm at home, the only thing I really watch, because I don't really watch much TV, but when I do, I watch either comic book movies or it's anime. And sometimes I'll just have it on. And my wife, she was like, are you watching your cartoons again? I was like, these are not cartoons, okay? These are like the equivalent of my stories, okay? These are like my equivalent of like my grandmother's soap operas, like to me, And so they'll try to say something because or why are you buying Funko Pops? You shouldn't be doing that, So you'll get this negative stuff. At the end of the day, I mean, you just got to shrug all that stuff off and just, I mean, who cares at the end of the day? Because who cares? Which we had another another conversation about wrestling, because my wife's a huge wrestling fan, and it fits like in pop culture, obviously. And I hear the argument, wrestling is fake. I was like, the bruises aren't fake. Like, what are you talking about? Like, let me pick you up and body slam you on this mat right now,
bro.
And you're tell me how fake it feels. Like,
that is that's legit. Like, I see what they're saying. Like, maybe some of the writing is, but bro, they're such good. You know how hard it is to lift a grown man above your head and hold. Like, remember the Goldberg, the jackhammer, lifting grown men above your head, straight vertical above your body, balancing them. Having the dexterity and coordination to turn as they're coming down to keep them safe and slam them on their back and knock their neck and break their spine and paralyze them. Like, wrestling's phenomenal. They're in such great shape. It's crazy.
And there's so much practice that goes into it. And like with the storyline, obviously the storyline is fake, obviously. But I feel like the whole wrestling is fake argument is so ignorant, because I'm like, dude, Netflix is fake. Like, the shows you watch on Netflix, like, oh, well, this princess was saved by this knight. He had to kill the dragon. Yeah, that was fake. I mean, it's not real. So,
and don't dare say Captain America's fake. People will freak out. Burning buildings. But, wrestling's fake. Oh, but I love the Hulk. Exactly. Iron Man. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, of course it's fake. Like, we're not, of course, like, it's, of course the storyline isn't real, right? I mean, but that's the whole premise of it. It's entertainment. So that's what we're, it's crazy. It's absolutely absurd. So like, my wife's been told that multiple times. And every time that, she's like, so somebody tell me wrestling's fake again. And I tell them I'm a wrestling fan. I'm like, well, you can tell them the not so nice terms to go and
yeah, if it's not for you, don't watch it. Don't try to make me. And again, this is another podcast topic. If you're making somebody feel stupid or lesser about themselves over something they genuinely enjoy, you're just a bad person. If somebody's not bothering anybody and they genuinely enjoy something and you make them feel stupid for liking it when you don't, you're just
such a jerk. And we had, because we had because people try to make me feel that way, and they're like, "Oh, you have a business? What do you do?" Yeah, well, we sell. I don't know why I say this all the time, but yeah, we sell comic book T-shirts. That's probably the simplest thing. So if I start going into what we do in detail, people they just kind of fall asleep. Unless they're like into this stuff. They're into this stuff. They're like, "Oh my goodness, what's the website?" Oh, so they're excited. But if they don't know anything about it, they're just like, "Oh, okay." Or they give me a look. They give me like that side eye. Comic book T-shirts. Why do you do that? Or they're like, they just give me that look like you're not like you're not in Wall Street or anything.
Living up to their personal standard they set for themselves that they can't even achieve.
Like you're not an attorney, you didn't go to med school. No, I didn't choose those routes. And honestly, I'm a smart enough guy. I could have done any of that and still succeeded in life if I wanted to. I just chose the whole reason I think that we do as a content creator, I think the whole reason that we're drawn to this environment is because this is what we love. This is the stuff that we love. We love Star Wars. We love comic books. We love cartoons. We love, Funkos. We love all this stuff. And so the idea is, and I especially think in this new age that we're in now, is that if someone gives you the opportunity to, I would say, to do something that's fun every single day for the rest of your life, why would anybody would jump out and do that? That's going to be enticing to anybody, really. Yeah. But I think it's just what it is. I think it's a generation ahead of us. And like I said, what they're saying is not all 100% incorrect. As far as like having a career, I think having a career is a good thing. But I also feel that at the same time, I feel like, it's just changing. Like our world is changing. And I could totally see like our generation being 60, 70 years old, but us being like the most fun generation. We'll be tatted up and freaking tatted up, streaming and playing Xbox, I guess Xbox 20, whatever they do, in PlayStation. I totally could see it. And I don't see anything wrong with that. So, people can call me crazy, but I don't see anything wrong with it. I don't see anything wrong with you surrounding yourself with the things you love. I feel like if I'm a big sports fan, why does sports have to have an age to it? Sports doesn't have an age to it, right? You can be a sports fan at 10, you can be a sports fan at 80. Why can't you also be a comic book fan at 80? Were we going to say Stan Lee should have retired? So
no, man. You can't like comic books and you can't collect Pokemon cards and like that stuff. But I can have a LeBron James jersey up at 80 years old and collect sports cards and baseball cards. But comic books, trading cards, you better not. So it's all about what makes you happy. You grow up. But Iron Man, Captain America, I love them. I got tats and everything. Me and my kids watch them, but I can't watch anime. Okay.
Exactly. That's just a cartoon. Like, have you not seen an anime? Like,
So
that's the debate there. Like, if I had kids now, like my kids, there's a lot of anime they just could not watch. I'm like, Dad, you're watching. One Punch Man looks exciting. Son, you can't. You can't.
And you know what, bro? I'm gonna tell you this off the podcast. I have a great idea for a YouTube channel, and I'm waiting on somebody to do it. If they don't do it, I guess I have to. So we're gonna talk about that because,
All right, so I guess we'll finally wrap up this podcast. Apologize for being so long, but I do hope that all of this was entertaining, even though we kind of, we went off the beaten path a little bit, started talking about some other stuff, but hope it was all entertaining to you. Again, if you if you like this podcast, or even if you dislike it, or we're open to your feedback. So your feedback helps us make this podcast absolutely wonderful for you. So feel free to you can email us info@animatedapparelcompany.com and just put in the subject line podcast feedback, something like that. One of our staff members will get the email, and it'll be routed to me eventually. So I'll get a chance to take a look at it as well. Follow the store, animatedapparelcompany.com. Only store plug I'm going to mention is we did the Cyberpunk figures, so we have those available for pre-order. Those figures are coming this upcoming week from Dark Horse. So we've been waiting on those almost like forever, mainly because there's been a lot of issues with COVID. COVID unfortunately delayed a lot of things. So it delayed a lot of things on the shipping side for us receiving those. But those should be coming in. Then we got our Ellie figures coming in. And who knew that we were going to be in the figure market pretty heavy? So seems like, if you guys as customers listening to this, if you guys like the figures, which I'm assuming you guys do, we're just going to keep doing more. We got some cool face masks that are coming in that I think are pretty cool as well too. We got some Hellboy face masks, Umbrella Academy. So we got a lot. I think Anime Pro Company is, I'm working hard to get others, partner with new suppliers. Of course, we always have to vet everybody to make sure that, that the merchandise is, 100%, everything's licensed, it's all good quality. Because I'm not selling anybody any junk. I'm just not doing it. I don't buy junk, I don't sell junk. So we're going through all that whole process. But once that's all done, at the end of the day, we should have, more suppliers, which means more merchandise, more variety. And I keep seeing people search for Pokemon that we don't have. So I do have a supplier that does have some Pokemon stuff. Only thing is, I haven't pulled the trigger on the Pokemon stuff yet because we're still kind of getting all the shipping stuff figured out in relation to that. But once that's ready, then I'm sure you guys will be excited about Pokemon stuff. Maybe we'll talk about that in the podcast more. So pretty fun stuff. A lot of fun things we got going on. But yeah, check out the store if you're interested in that kind of stuff, or if you just want to continue listening to podcasts, you're more than welcome to do that. You can search us online, YouTube, Anime Pro Co, or Anime Pro Company. Pulls up everything that we have. Again, I'm Russ, the CEO, and we got Smiz here as well. And that's it. We're out. So we're going to finally wrap up this podcast today. But you guys all have a wonderful day.
Peace.